So, we now start chapter 4. The title is Elementary Functions. This chapter contains 3 modules. Module 1 is exponential function. Module 2 named as trigonometric function and hyperbolic function, and module 3 named as logarithmic function. We now discuss module 1, which is exponential function. We all know about exponential function for a real variable. We just recall some properties of the function e to the power x. We know e to the power x is continuous on R, where R is the set of real numbers. Also, e to the power x greater than 0 for all x belongs to R. E to the power minus x equal to 1 by e to the power x, which is also greater than 0. E to the power x tends to infinity as x tending to infinity, and e to the power minus x tends to 0 as x tends to infinity. The derivative of e to the power x is e to the power x itself. E to the power x1 into e to the power x2 is equal to e to the power x1 plus x2. The function e to the power x has a power series expansion as 1 plus x square by factorial 2 plus x cube by factorial 3 plus etc. Also, e to the power x maps the set of all real numbers onto the set of positive reals. So, from this we can get an inverse function which is called as natural logarithm, and we say that x equal to log of y if and only if y equal to e to the power x. So, natural question arises, is it possible to extend the exponential function of real variable for the case of complex variable? If so, what properties remains the same? In this module, we discuss exponential function for a complex variable z, and we study some of its properties. At last, we provide some examples. Now, we go to our slide. So, we now start exponential function. Most of the specific functions encountered in elementary analysis belong to a class widely known as elementary functions. To have an appropriate exposition of this class, we need the following definitions. So, first we define a rational function. A function w defined by w of z equal to p of z by q of z, where each p of z and q of z are polynomials having no common factor, is called a rational function. So, now we define algebraic function. An algebraic function is a polynomial, a rational function, or more generally any function w equal to f of z which satisfy the equation Pn z w to the power n plus Pn minus 1 z w to the power n minus 1 plus plus P1 z w plus P0 z equal to 0, where each Pkz, where k varies from 0 to n, is a polynomial of degree k. any function w equal to fz which is not a solution of this equation is called a transcendental function. The exponential function, logarithmic functions, trigonometric functions, hyperbolic functions and their corresponding inverses are examples of transcendental function. The set of elementary functions consists of the algebraic functions, the transcendental functions and all others that can be constructed by adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing or forming a function of a function. So, besides elementary functions, there exist the higher transcendental functions which is known as special functions. The field of special functions was cultivated with great devotion by the renowned mathematicians like Gauss, Jacobi, Riemann, Euler, Hermite, Weierstrass and some other in the 18th and 19th centuries. Some of the well-known examples of these special functions are the elliptic function, the Riemann zeta function, the gamma function and the Gauss hypergeometric functions. In this chapter, we first introduce the exponential function of a complex variable. We define trigonometric function, hyperbolic function and logarithmic functions with the help of this exponential function, and then we discuss some properties of these functions. So, first we define periodic functions. A function f defined in a domain D is called periodic if there is a non-zero complex number omega such that whenever z belongs to D, z plus w belongs to D, f of z plus w is equal to f of z. In this case, the non-zero number omega is called a period of f. A constant function is a trivial example of a periodic function. Further, if f is periodic, the number 0 is considered to be a period of f. Let f be a non-constant analytic and periodic function with period omega. Then, for each n belongs to I, the set of all integers, n omega is also its period. All the points n omega lie on the same straight line joining the origin to the point omega. Among all such periods, there is a non-zero point in the upper half plane, that is imaginary z greater or equal to 0, and on this line which is also a period of f and which is nearest to the origin. Such a period is called a primitive period or fundamental period of the function f. Let P be the set of all periods of an analytic function f. We also assume that omega is a primitive period of f. If omega is the only primitive period of f, then the function f is called simply periodic. On the other hand, if the function has two primitive periods, then we call it as doubly periodic. We note that a periodic function can have at most two primitive periods. As for example, elliptic functions. This function has two primitive periods. Henceforth, the period of a function would mean its primitive period or fundamental period until specially mentioned otherwise. So now we define exponential function of a complex variable z. The exponential function e to the power z or exponential z of a complex variable z, where z is equal to x plus iy, is defined by e to the power z equal to e to the power x plus iy equal to e to the power x into e to the power iy. In view of Euler's formula, we get e to the power z equal to e to the power x into cos y plus I sin y. Since for n belongs to I, where I is the set of all integers, e to the power z plus 2n pi I, this is obviously equal to e to the power x into e to the power I into 2n pi plus y. And since e to the power 2n pi I is 1, from this we get e to the power z plus 2n pi I is equal to e to the power x into e to the power iy, which is equal to e to the power x plus iy, and which gives e to the power z. So from this we see that e to the power z is a periodic function with period 2n pi I. So another result, we have modulus e to the power z is equal to modulus e to the power x e to the power iy. Since modulus e to the power iy is 1, we get modulus e to the power z equal to e to the power x, which is obviously positive for all real number x. Also, from this we get e to the power z is non-zero for any z belongs to the complex plane C. If we take z equal to x, then we get well familiar exponential function of a real variable. The first order partial derivatives of real and imaginary components of e to the power z are continuous and satisfy the well known Cauchy-Riemann equations in the entire complex plane. So using the relation f dash z equal to del u del x plus I del v del x, we see that d dz of e to the power z equal to e to the power z for any z belongs to the complex plane C. So from this we conclude that e to the power z is an entire function. So far we have discussed what is called rational function, algebraic function, transcendental function, periodic function. Then we define exponential function for a complex variable z, and we see that e to the power z is an entire function. It is a periodic function with period 2n pi I. Also, e to the power z not equal to 0 for any z belongs to C, the complex plane. We now show that for any two complex numbers z1 and z2, we have e to the power z1 into e to the power z2 equal to e to the power z1 plus z2. We also prove an interesting result which says that e to the power z assumes each non-zero finite complex value infinitely often. Now we go to our slide. So we now prove a result for any two complex numbers z1 and z2. We have e to the power z1 plus z2 is equal to e to the power z1 into e to the power z2. Let z1 equal to x1 plus I y1 and z2 equal to x2 plus I y2. Then from the definition of exponential function, we see that e to the power z1 plus z2 is equal to e to the power x1 plus x2 plus I into y1 plus y2, which is equal to e to the power x1 plus x2 into e to the power I into y1 plus y2, which is equal to e to the power x1 into e to the power I y1 into e to the power x2 into e to the power I y2, and this gives e to the power z1 into e to the power z2. This result can also be extended to e to the power z1 plus z2 plus up to zn is equal to e to the power z1 into e to the power z2 into up to e to the power zn. So if we put z1 equal to z and z2 equal to minus z in above result, we see that e to the power minus z equal to 1 by e to the power z, and this shows that the inverse of e to the power z is e to the power minus z. Also we obtain e to the power z1 minus z2 is equal to e to the power z1 into e to the power minus z2, and that is equal to e to the power z1 by e to the power z2. The function e to the power z is not 1 1, because for any complex numbers z1 and z2, e to the power z1 equal to e to the power z2 holds if and only if z1 equal to z2 plus 2n pi I for some n belongs to the set of all integers. So from this we see that though exponential function for real variable is a 1 1 function, but the exponential function for complex variable is not an 1 1 function. Now we prove very interesting result. E to the power z assumes every finite non-zero complex number infinitely often. So we note that if the exponential function e to the power z assumes a value once, by its periodicity it assumes the value infinitely many times. Let e to the power z equal to a plus ib, where a and b not both 0. So assuming z equal to x plus iy, we see that a equal to e to the power x cos y and b equal to e to the power x sin y. So squaring both sides, we get e to the power 2x into cos square y plus sin square y. that is equal to e to the power 2x, which is equal to a square plus b square. From this we obtain x equal to half log a square plus b square. So, assuming a non-zero, from above we obtain tan y equal to b by a, that is y is equal to tan inverse b by a. Thus, we see that z equal to x plus iy, which is equal to half log a square plus b square plus I tan inverse b by a is a solution to the equation e to the power z equal to a plus ib. If one of the values of tan inverse b by a is y0, then for any integer k, y0 plus 2k pi must also be a value. If a is 0, then from e to the power z equal to 0 plus ib equal to ib, it follows that e to the power x equal to modulus b and y equal to argument of e to the power z, which is equal to argument of ib, and therefore z can be written as log mod b plus I into pi by 2 plus 2k pi if b is positive, and z equal to log mod b plus I into minus pi by 2 plus 2k pi if b is negative. So, now we consider some example. So, first example, solve the equation e to the power 3z minus 2 equal to 1 plus I. So, here e to the power 3z minus 2 is equal to 1 plus I, which is obviously equal to root 2 into 1 by root 2 plus I by root 2, and this equals root 2 cos pi by 4 plus I sin pi by 4, and this equals root 2 into e to the power pi I by 4. Therefore, taking logarithm, we obtain 3z minus 2 equal to log root 2 plus I into 2n pi plus pi by 4, where n is any integer. Therefore, the solution set is given by z equal to 2 by 3 plus 1 by 6 log 2 plus I 2n plus 1 by 4 into pi by 3, where n belongs to I and I is the set of all integers. So, next example, solve the equation e to the power 2z minus 2 minus I into e to the power z minus 2I equal to 0. So, here e to the power 2z minus 2 minus I e to the power z minus 2I equal to 0. So, simplifying, we obtain e to the power z minus 2 into e to the power z plus I equal to 0. Now, e to the power z minus 2 equal to 0 gives e to the power z equal to 2 into e to the power 2n pi I, where n is any integer. So, from this we get z equal to log 2 plus 2n pi I, where n belongs to I. Again, e to the power z plus I equal to 0 gives e to the power z equal to minus I, and which is equal to e to the power minus I pi by 2, and this equals e to the power 2n minus half into pi I. From this we get z equal to 2n minus half pi I, that is equal to 4n minus 1 into pi I by 2, where n is any integer. Now, we consider another example, so that the function fz equal to e to the power z conjugate is nowhere analytic. So, we let z equal to x plus iy. So, z bar equal to x minus iy. So, our given function is fz equal to e to the power z conjugate, which is equal to e to the power x minus iy, and this gives f of z equal to e to the power x cos y minus I e to the power x sin y. So, real fz, which is u, is equal to e to the power x cos y, and imaginary fz, which equals to v, equal to e to the power x sin y. So, differentiating both u and v partially with respect to x and y, we obtain del u del x equal to e to the power x cos y, del u del y equal to minus e to the power x sin y, del v del x equal to minus e to the power x sin y, and del v del y equal to minus e to the power x cos y. So, from this we see that ux not equal to vy and uy not equal to minus vx. Therefore, the given function e to the power z conjugate is nowhere analytic in the complex plane. Next, we consider another example. Let fz be analytic in a domain D such that derivative of fz is equal to fz for all z belongs to D. Then so that f0 equal to 1 if and only if f of z equal to e to the power z. So, given that f dash z equal to fz for all z in the domain D. So, integrating we get log fz equal to z plus c1, where c1 is any constant. So, from this we get fz equal to c e to the power z, where c equal to e to the power c1 equal to constant. So, given that f0 equal to 1, so f0 equal to 1 if and only if c is 1, and therefore, fz equal to e to the power z. At the end of this module, we came to know about rational function, algebraic function, transcendental function, periodic function, and exponential function for a complex variable z. So, we see that the question is exponential function for real variable can be extended to exponential function for a complex variable z, and if it can be done, what properties remains the same. Here we see that almost all properties of the exponential function for a real variable remains the same for the exponential function of a complex variable z, except here the function e to the power z is not 1 1. We also discussed some problems related to this module. For more problems, you can see the self-assessment part of this module. You also consult any reference book for more details. This ends module 1 of chapter 4.